Do kettlebells have something special that makes them worth the hype? Or are they just a lump of iron with little unique to offer? I use kettlebells. I teach kettlebells all over the country. If you don't know, I was there at the beginning of the modern kettlebell craze 25 years ago. But they are a tool, not the toolbox, not the entire hardware store. So let's pull back the curtain on them a bit, starting with the history of the modern kettlebell movement. Here's what I witnessed. Over a quarter century ago, we had a community center in Sacramento called the Learning Exchange. And they'd offer classes on being a better writer to building a desktop waterfall, which is way cooler than you think. They'd put out a catalog every season of all their upcoming classes, including a fitness section, which over the years, even I was featured in. But where this story begins, there was a class for these things called kettlebells, which I had heard of, but never used. If memory serves, it was about a 90-minute class and it cost about $45, taught by this fascinating Russian guy who called everybody comrade. And a few of you just went, ah. He seemed to be showing us something magical, showing us these unique exercises with these weird tools, making us question everything we thought we knew. Fast forward a few years and that 90-minute workshop evolved into an all-day certification that would cost you upwards of about $1,000. Same Russian guy calling everybody comrade though. That was Pavel Tsatsouline, a brilliant, witty trainer who was half of Dragon Door, the company who brought kettlebells to America in the beginning of the 21st century. Dragon Door also brought a new style of fitness marketing that transformed the fitness industry for better or worse. A level of hype and gimmicks that predated social media, but had the same effect on the gullibility of many fitness geeks. A new way of finding identity through a program or tool unlike anything seen before. Soon you could call yourself a kettlebeller, and you could have a Russian kettlebell certification, and you could teach kettlebell programs, and you can open a kettlebell gym. Just a total kettlebelly jellicle good time. I was there, although I never bothered with the certification, and eventually there were dozens of certifications. I was the first gym in Sacramento and one of the only gyms in all of California to have and teach kettlebells. Dragon Door made it possible to turn a simple lump of iron into an entire identity, a craze, maybe even a cult. Product of the kettlebell became greater than the truth of the kettlebell. And this precedent became the standard blueprint for trendy marketing for the next 25 years, with any tool, any program, any chance to create an identity through a product, which is a problem because it's a scam. Because despite the hype, there aren't really kettlebell exercises. There are kettlebell party tricks like juggling, and there's kettlebell sport. Don't get me started. I've never had to help fix more postures from any other athletic endeavor than the sport of kettlebell. But Dragon Door convinced everyone that there were practical kettlebell exercises, specific movements that were effective for everyone as long as you used a kettlebell. Here's how they were sneaky. Roughly a century ago, if you bought a dumbbell or barbell set, it came in this big ass box, which usually came with a small booklet or a pamphlet with the exercises you could do with it. We still see this practice today, although it's usually a QR code that comes somewhere on the box of your fitness toy. In those instructions, you'd often see an exercise called the get up, either done with a dumbbell or a barbell. By the 1950s, however, this exercise pretty much disappeared because bodybuilding and the idea of building individual muscles sort of phased out a lot of the more athletic movements. Dragon Door unburied the get up and slapped on the exotic adjective Turkish to it. Boom! It became a kettlebell exercise.
Tight.
Now, if you're a kettlebeller who's about to give me a history lesson about Turkish wrestlers doing similar things, please show your receipts. I'm no slouch in my physical culture history, but I have yet to find any evidence of a strong correlation to this claim. Same with the swing, which again you can find as a dumbbell challenge in those old pamphlets and magazines. And same with the one-arm clean and the one-arm snatch, which were both popular dumbbell exercises even featured in the early Olympics at the turn of the century. These were not kettlebell lifts, they were just forgotten lifts. Really good ones, but abandoned to time and then revived and rebranded. That being said, there are some exercises that might make more sense with a kettlebell. In fact, I think there are exactly 4 exercises that can work better with a kettlebell, just through sheer fit and feel, not through any magic or secrets. The clean. Although it has a higher learning curve than with a dumbbell, it feels better to many folks who finally get it. And by the way, I do it straight from the ground. I don't do swing cleans. That's a personal preference, but I find it has more crossover to other things. And that's from over 25 years of kettlebell experience. The swing. I mean, come on. It's like the kettlebell was actually made for this. Light deadlifts. For training populations that might not be ready for a barbell, you have another case of the perfect tool for the job. In fact, this might mimic real life more than a barbell. How many things do you pick up that are wide like that? Get over it, straddle it, pick it up. Farmer's walks, they make for an easier carry. But as they get heavier, they might bump into the legs a little bit. Other than that, you can use a kettlebell instead of a dumbbell or a barbell, but it's not going to give you some massively different outcome. If you dig the way it feels, go for it. Just, in the words of Flava Flav, don't believe the hype. About 20 years ago, I was showing a Newsweek article to BodyTribe trainer Allison. The magazine claimed that kettlebells burned fat and built muscle. Allison read that, looked down at the kettlebells and said, they just sit there.
It's a new thing, check out this I bring.
When our identity is with a tool or a program, we're not finding our own strength. We're giving credit to something or someone else. It's good to have a tribe, but you're responsible and should deserve credit for your own journey. And that's the scam, convincing you that it does the thing to you. It's you. That's just a tool. But if you believe in it, so are you. See how the kettlebell did in my equipment ranking video. Let's chat more about this over at the BodyTribe website, where you can join the forums or you can participate in the Initiate program, which is free and features no special equipment except you as the artist, canvas, and talent. Meanwhile, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for inspiring, because you do. And remember, you matter. Treat yourself and others accordingly. Bye.